Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. Today, another exciting guest. Let me tell you where we're going today. I'm going to throw out a name. Lockheed Martin. I'm going to throw out another name. Japanese football. I'm going to throw out another name. Military career. I'm going to throw out another name. Who's who? Not Doctor Who. I said who. Who's who? These are some outstanding titles. And these titles indicate work, perseverance, determination, and a never say die beast mentality. Today on the show, I'm blessed to have a young man who has definitely illustrated all of the things that I just mentioned. I'd like to welcome to the show the one, the only, Mr. Do Everything, Alan Williams. Welcome to the show, big guy.
Appreciate you, man. That's a powerful intro, man. I appreciate it.
You know, that is an intro that is well deserved. The resume speaks for itself. Before we get into all of this, these wonderful things that you've accomplished and what you're doing now for the community and the young generation, tell the viewers a little bit about Mr. Williams.
So, Alan Williams, born in Orangeburg, South Carolina, home of the South Carolina State Bulldogs. Went to Edisto High School, graduated in 2001, and decided, I wanted to go ahead and pursue my career and join the Navy. So I joined the Navy 2001, September 17th, right before September 11th. We didn't know September 11th was going to happen, but at that time, a week prior, I went to boot camp. Served my time from 2001 to 2023, lived in 3 different countries, travel all over, visited 53 countries total. But it was a good venture. It taught, the Navy taught me discipline. It gave me an opportunity. It gave me just a way of going in life, so after that, I retired last year, June 30th, 2023. Took a 2-month hiatus, just to relax, and refocus and try to transition. I transitioned, put in my resume for Lockheed Martin at the time, at a job they were offering. They kind of wanted my expertise in a certain thing that they had, and I got hired October last year. So it was 1 year, I want to say last week, for me at the company. It's been a good company, very diverse company. I tell you about like companies like these, they'll take a risk on you with your expertise. They give you a chance. So I was blessed and fortunate for them to just give me a chance for the experience I had for the military, because their biggest customers is the military. So
when you was growing up, did you come from a stable environment, like a mom and a dad in the household?
Yeah, I have both parents. My dad was in law enforcement for over 30 years. Mom, she worked at the utility company, the local utility company in Orangeburg. But they were young parents. They made ends meet. I think my dad had to. My dad was like a star football player and a star track player.
Mhm.
pretty much had to cut his career short, because I came, so that's when, he was like, hey, I gotta be a man, get a job. So he joined the police force. And my mom, she was that mom you always ask for, work a 9 to 5,
Mhm.
uh, come home, cook, clean, keep the house in order, and and take care of us. So, my
What
mom,
was it like having a father in law enforcement for you?
oh, it was not bad at all, back in those days, and I can contest to this, my daddy did a lot, for the community.
Mhm.
We had a junior Olympic track team. Um, at that time, him and Papa Johnson, I don't know if everybody remember him, but Papa Johnson was the first black sheriff voted into that county of Orangeburg, South Carolina. So they had the junior Olympic team at the time. They were coaching together at a middle school, and then he got elected in office
Mhm.
and got my daddy into community policing. But before that, my daddy was like with the city and stuff like that. So, like a lot of people that my daddy, like, helped out, they needed that guidance. Maybe they didn't have a father figure. Maybe they didn't have a mom.
Mhm.
So, my daddy was the one that, you know,
Pretty much stepped in.
kept in, knock you upside your head, like, look,
Yeah.
hey, I ain't gonna do this, but here, I'm gonna do this, and you need to straighten up. So a lot of people that got saved, like one example, Shelton Benjamin. I don't know if you heard of Shelton Benjamin, WWE wrestler,
Yeah.
and Shelton is from my hometown, so Shelton can contest, and I think my daddy was in one of his autobiographies that he did with WWE. You
Okay.
know how he came from the projects, he came from this, and he wasn't, could have had this way, but he was one of those guys that he just needed a little guidance,
Right.
and look where he's at today. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's a lot of guys that my dad had like taught the Henry Guesses that played at Clemson, the Terry Guesses that played in the NFL for a little bit,
Right.
the Darwin Walkers that did a story with the Eagles. I remember and saying, "Hey, Coach Williams, hey, if you're up to that wrestling match, I can do it now." He was on the track team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like it wasn't like today, like, soon you know, it's like a clout, like, oh, let me arrest somebody or let me stop somebody or make a scene. No, my
Right.
dad wasn't like that. He always like will work with the kids.
Did you ever, did your dad ever talk to you about maybe following his footsteps in law enforcement? And if so, why didn't you versus going to the military?
No, not exactly. My daddy had a mentality of where, he didn't force me into anything.
Hmm.
So like, hey, whatever you want to do, do it.
Hmm.
Um, But no, he never like talked to me about let's going into law enforcement and stuff. But I know if I would have went that route, he
Hmm.
would probably like, okay, gave me some suggestions and say gave me some tips. But no, he didn't talk to me about like, hey man, you should go here and do that. He always say, I want you to be better than me,
Hmm.
and I want you to just be successful. But always remember where you came from. But I want you to be better than me. So I always had that mentality. Like, hey, um, good raising parents, teaching me discipline. Didn't have a broken household or anything.
Right.
And but the main thing he said is you use common sense.
Okay.
Like the main thing, so I use common sense, through a lot of things. With his his saying, what he used to teach me and instill in me. So but he didn't progress that on me.
Right.
So whatever I wanted to do, it's just like, hey, If you're gonna do it, do it.
So what was the turning point that led you to the military, and then why choose the Navy versus Air Force, Army, and Air Marines?
Well, at that time, high school, like everybody go in the auditorium and take the ass valve. So, I took the ass valve. I ain't scored too well, I ain't did too well, but I did enough.
Right.
And you know, I was doing pretty good in football, but I was like, man, I want to see something different. And some of the offers I was getting, it was like, okay, hmm, cool, but I wanted to see something different. So when the Navy recruiters came to our high school, man, it was like, oh man, we went here, 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 and we go here. And then as I went to the recruiting offices, you know, I went to all of them, and the Army and the Marines, they were telling this, but I can kind of like see like, all right, man, they ain't telling the full truth. But I took the dinners. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But they were like telling the full truth. But the Navy recruiters, they were saying like the truth, like, hey, look, if you go here, pick a job. If you
Right.
go designated, hey, you're gonna be doing a lot of other stuff, but don't, I advise you don't go undesignated, pick a job, tally the score up and they say, hey, look, you qualify for this, picks up with a clearance, and it was just being real. So
Mhm.
that's
When
why,
you when you did go in and they gave you that bit of advice, I mean, that had to be a relief for you. But what did you wind up going? What was your game plan when you went in, and what career did you pick, and why did you pick that career?
oh, so like I told them I wanted something like with air traffic controlling and stuff like that. I didn't really qualify for like the actual air traffic controller, but it was like, hey, look, operations specialist, hey, they pretty much can do all that, everything, but you have to like, get certain qualifications and things of that nature. So I was like, okay. So I was like, I did that, instead. He said, yeah, it comes with a clearance, and that nature. I said, cool. So I did that, they showed me the picture, it was a little guy in the radar room and the big dark room. I said, okay. I said, this look.
Did you have any former s- interests in aviation prior to that? Then why go there out of all the things that the Navy had to offer?
I just wanted something with airplanes, man,
Did you ever fly before? Did you ever fly before?
I had flew one time, and that
You
was
got
when I
hooked.
was like 8 or 9 years old, and my brother was born. Yeah, so that was like that was my first time on the plane. My
Okay.
grandma she took me the first time on the plane to Connecticut, and I never flew on a plane, so I was fascinated, and looking out the window, and I'm like, man, I would just want to do something with planes, but yeah, it just fascinating. Being from a small town and things of that nature, you don't really get opportunities to, go on a plane and stuff like that. Like today, you get
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
What were some of the memorable things that you remember about that decision, leaving home, going to the military, but more so, you're out on a ship. I remember when my brother signed up for the Marines, and he was at
Mhm.
Camp Lejeune, and they give you that one phone call,
Yes.
and he called me, and for me being his big brother, it really touched me. But I
Yeah.
remember him almost crying. He said, "I want to come home." I said, "Dude, you can't come home." But
No.
I saw what it did to him. He went during the time of Desert Storm, and at 18 years old, he was a platoon sergeant. I remember him come home after his 4 years, and people were saluting him, and I'm like, "Holy crap!" I didn't know the military. I became an entrepreneur at a young age.
Mhm.
But what did you? What were some of the things that you remember most about that decision that you made from the time that you got sworn in to the time that you retired?
Oh, so I'm the decision. I remember like, turning 18, signing myself up because my mom wasn't gonna do it. My dad, he was like busy and stuff like that. He kind of like, I don't know what you want, but I talked to my mom about it. She was like, "Oh, I'm not doing that," because they don't know. So signed myself up and sworn in delay entry program, and I went home to my mom and said, "Hey, look, man, I signed up for the Navy, so uh, I'm gonna do my bound program, do my little summer programs. Like around September, I'm gone." And she's like, "Oh, it's
My baby leaving in a couple months.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember, they throw me a going away party and my mom kind of teared. She tough, but she teared up. And then my aunt, she a baby, she was crying. And then after that, I just remember the day before, they sent us to Columbia, South Carolina, do a little processing, and we stayed at the little Ramada Inn the night before. Then you wake up in the morning and you take that flight, and it was kind of different because of September 11th. So, it was kind of, you know, this kind of heavy control a little bit
What
because
was
of the.
that? What was that like for you? Hold down a minute. What was that
Mhm,
like for you? It's 9/11.
mhm,
You're on the plane going into the military.
mhm.
What was your emotions like, and what do you remember about some of the new cadets, pretty much that were also in your position? You're now under attack, and you're going to and you've enlisted
Yes,
the detail.
yes.
What was really going through your mind right at that moment?
It, a lot of things, it just was like, oh man, what did I sign myself up to? I didn't know this was gonna happen. And this happened a week before, I left. I'm leaving. So, when we was there, they kept giving us updates, what's going on and what's the situation, what's happening, things of that nature. I know people, other sailors was like just asking like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they gave a good job keeping us updated, and keeping us like patient, just the mind focus and to train and things of that nature. But yeah, that just was the main thing, keeping us updated. You know, think that was everybody's like attentions to like just, hey, what's going on? When I leave here, or when I go to school, that after I leave school, what's gonna happen next? But it kept us good and informed of what's going on, and that's all I pretty much needed to know. It was a regular boot camp, wasn't nothing too different, but it was just like, hey, stuff going on behind the scenes, but we just got to get your guys ready.
Mm. So you move forward into the military with over 22 years of military experience. That's a long time. What kept you there for 22 years?
It just was you know, as you grow on it, just like, like it became something like, okay, this is easy. You get what I'm saying? It's not nothing hard. You learn your job, you get put in situations, you get put in unusual situations, but you adapt and you overcome. So it was just like easy. It wasn't like everybody, they see on TV and stuff like that. It was just easy. It wasn't bad. Get paid every 2 weeks. You get a GI Bill to go to college, or you can use TA and go to college while you're in.
Mm.
You have so many opportunities to travel all over. I tell you what, like, the military is close knit. You know, whoever you serve with, or it's just a close community. We look out for each other. Even today, retired, you see somebody you serve with, man, they look out. And
Mm.
anybody can contest to that. It's just a different world a little bit. Age. 18, 19-year old, you're hanging out with a 30 something year old, but it's different because it's not a normal 30-year-old civilian. It's like, hey, we doing this together. So you can easily like adapt and mingle with different age groups and things of that nature. So it's just different, man. We close knit.
You did something very unique. Um, you did a David Robertson, another
Mm,
former Navy uh, um, cadet. He
mhm.
goes in and he actually uses the Navy to enter into the NBA.
Exactly.
You take it and you also go into playing professional football. How did that come about? And that had to be a game changer because you didn't go through the NFL, but you still are considered a pro football player. NFL is an organization. You are a professional football player just like they are. They just are labeled NFL, but you might, I guess, would be NFL, national, not NFL, professional football player worldwide. What was that journey like for you?
It was so they had like a base team, Husker Seahawks, and you know you had pretty much had like a sound like a little we call it a request shit in the military, but it's basically a waiver, saying, hey, look, you're gonna do this, but you also we're doing morale, giving back to the communities too, representing the military. So yeah, got signed off for that. And Captain Brett Crozier was the CEO at the time. If you don't know who Brett Crozier is, he was that CEO when COVID came out, that carrier to Roosevelt, that captain that everybody was like, Brett Crozier, all over the news. Yeah, that was him. He was my CEO. He gave me permission to go out there and do it. And yeah, it was fun. We played against you know, the X1 Japanese teams, X2 Japanese team, also college Japanese team. So it was a good experience. Met a lot of guys over there, still current guys over there that's playing right now that actually went the college route and things of that nature. They're playing, doing good, and man, it was so much fun. I had a great time.
The big question, Alan, is were you a beast on the field?
I sure was. I showed them young dudes how old dudes work. When you get old a little bit like that, it's a mentality. You got to show these little young dudes like I can run with you, I can do this with you, I can do that with you. So it was like I had a blast. And kind of like pick up the young dudes now. Like, look, man, I'm old, man, and I'm like in my 30s, mid. You know what I'm saying? You struggling? Like, come on, man.
Were there ever any I know this is a stupid question because everybody's going to say yeah to some degree. Were there ever any um, thoughts of taking your talents on the road to the NFL?
Oh nah. I mean, when I started this, man, I was like way in my career, so no. This was just like another opportunity.
Mhm.
And Coach James Price, he was like a former retired Master Chief. He used to play for the team back in the day, and back in the day, they used to play like, oh my God, they played in the Tokyo Dome and all over. I
Right.
think they used to be called Greyhawks, and he just took over the team, and started coaching, and I was like, man, just do it, and see what I got, see if I still got something in the tank, and can compete with these young kids, coming straight out of high school, young military guys, and then some of the kids we playing with, these young Japanese kids or young, college kids or some of these athletes that came out of college. So it was fun.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit. Let's back up a little bit. And you shared something with me that I had no idea that we have a lady of color that now I believe operates or has a major role with um, where you are now, Colonel Lockheed. How did that opportunity even happen for you? Because you just started working there. How did that opportunity even happen? You don't have to tell what you do because that's a hard. I know
Yeah.
they deal with um, space
Mhm.
and airplane engineering.
Mhm.
How did you wind up getting that opportunity? Because that's a major opportunity with space research and development. They're known as the key in that industry.
It just like, so with Lockheed, if you have experience, so a major customer is the military. So the military experience, first of all, second of all, whatever that you've done, in the military, maybe is a key tool that they probably need from you.
Mhm,
Pretty much learn the other stuff, on the job and things of that nature.
mhm.
But yeah, it was just I got hired from a tool that they really needed that I did while I was in the military. So I was like, hey, I'm real good at this. I'm real good at this, but hey, never seen this, never heard about this equipment, but it's probably equivalent, probably the same. And I probably can learn it because in the military we get put in situations
Mhm.
where we have to adapt. So, we're easily adaptable and we could get put in situations where we can learn the situation quick. We won't be like overbearing or just frustrated. So yeah, I got hired. I retired in June 30th, took a 2 month hiatus, just relax a little bit, and then got hired in October. I got hired as a senior test engineer interrogator, working with a system with the expertise that they needed,
Mhm.
and it was good. And I just recently got moved to another system where I have no clue of, never touched it, but guess what?
You're gonna
Yeah,
you're gonna
learning. Yeah, I'm learning it. It's not as complicated that I thought. It's not as hard that I thought. So but it's been good. Very diverse company. You won't realize, how many of us that's in that company,
right.
that's in hire, that's in that company. I just recently, my cousin is in the company, too, and he's like a, higher, person in his field.
Mhm.
He's getting ready to retire. He came from the Air Force, retired from the Air Force, and now he's working. I didn't realize at the time this is the company that he was working with.
Right.
Oh man, my first chief in the Navy, he's working at this company. I hit him up.
Ain't that crazy? It's not
That's
so
crazy.
much what you know, but who you know.
Who like he's like, dude. I said, yeah, man, I'm here. But it's a lot. It's a lot of people now. I was looking last night. I said, oh man, my boy Acosta, like it's people who I serve with like that
Yeah.
that's in the company, man. So I was like, man, but um yeah, the company is very diverse. It's a good company, great, great, great benefits. It's great everything all around, So it is, man, I'm blessed.
Let me go and throw this out there. It was something bigger than this that got you in that door, and I'm gonna just call it like it is. Or the 2024 2005 Who's honoree. Let's get real. That opened up some doors. How did you get this? What exactly is a who's who, and how can I become a who who?
I mean, they just reached out to me. I never knew anything about Marquise Who's. But they reached out and I did a little research. I'm like, oh, and they, it's from my naval career and now what I'm doing at Lockheed. So I was like, wow. And they did a biography, and you got your own like page to their link. You got your, I guess all the search engines and stuff like that you can do. It was just,
How does that make you feel, man, to be recognized by so many things that you put forth in your life and to see it being amplified in such a beautiful and magnificent way? How does that make you feel?
it makes me feel good, and I don't be trying like to, be in the limelight. I just do what I'm doing. You get what I'm saying? And, you know, network, try to help other people out, give information.
Mhm.
Um, Me and my boy, we always talk about this. My boy Prince, we always talk about like back when we was growing up, we had less information. We
Right.
didn't know if we got to, we had to look for it, we got to apply it, or we have to just find it.
Mhm.
This generation today got too much information.
Right.
So it still smother the brain, but knowing the right people and knowing who to talk to get the proper information.
Right. That's the
You
key.
got it.
That's the key, pretty much, to do that. You're doing some remarkable things too. I'm glad you mentioned this. Working with the youth, you're doing a lot of stuff, or you've done a lot of stuff in Denver, Colorado. Can you elaborate a little bit on that and what you're doing there, or what you have done in the past, and what you're doing in the future?
Yeah, so I worked with the, shout out to my guy Prince Dykes for introducing me to the Denver Broncos Boys and Girls Club. It's the inner city kids youth, kids who I can relate to because I was that at one point. But I was coaching football, helping coach basketball. The Global Children Financial Literacy Foundation, Prince Dykes and Chadwick Davis, uh, founders and co-founders, retired military, both of them.
Mhm.
Uh, so Prince wrote four children's books. Wesley Learns to Invest, Wesley Learns Finance, Wesley Learns Insurance, and Wesley Knows Real Estate.
Mhm.
Two was written with Hall of Famer Terrell Davis, and the second one was helped publish and cater out by the Cookie Man, famous Amos, that recently died. God bless his soul.
Really?
So when I heard about what Prince was doing, we were serving together, and when I heard about what he was doing, I was like, hey man, I want to be a part of this. If I can help, whatever way I can help. I said, look, man, when I retire, man, you can take over my stuff, take over my funds, and
Right.
transfer. But man, Prince is amazing, man. Was knowledgeable, in the military, got his MBA, got everything, got his Series 60, all the Series 60s, everything. But the whole point of the foundation is to make children first time stock shareholders.
Mhm.
We give them the S&P 500 index fund, which is top 500 companies.
Mhm.
So basically, we wanted them to have something, in their investing. So when they graduate high school, they got something.
You know what? That is beautiful, because you're right. Information is only powerful when you're able to get it to somebody else, and somebody else can utilize that. How long have you guys been doing this to give individuals this opportunity? And more importantly, what about individuals in other states and counties throughout the world that need this? Is this available to them? And if so, how can they reach out to you to be a part of this program to make this, if it's not global, how do we make it global?
Oh yeah. So this nonprofit, it's a nonprofit. It's been going down for like 7 years.
Mhm.
And yes, it's done in other states too. I know they travel to Georgia, Maryland,
Mhm.
it's wherever, wherever if any community, any school that wants to get involved. It's a
Mhm.
book series. Kids have to read it.
Mhm.
do an essay, and Prince reads every essay, and like I said, it's nonprofit, so it's you can go to the website Global Children Financial Literacy Foundation, or www.gc Global Children Financial, yeah, gcflf.com.
Is it expensive for them to be a part of this program, and do they have to be a certain age to participate in learning how to invest and so forth? Is there an age requirement?
No, it can be from kindergarten on. The biggest thing is the parents. They don't know neither. So if the parents want to like just sit back and listen and look, they can do that too. But like the Boys and Girls Club, the school districts,
Mhm.
they can get involved. Like I said, it's a nonprofit. So
So the parents can actually reach out to the social media pages that you just mentioned, the website, and learn for themselves and pass this information on, this knowledge to their own children as well.
yeah, they can pass the knowledge to their own children as well. Like, Prince has a podcast called The Investor Show, where he always have like distinguished guests, the Kiyosaki's, the Warren Buffett's, uh the Killer Mike's,
Oh
the
man, I'm crazy about Killer Mike, man. Crazy
yeah,
about Killer Mike, man. I listen to everything he puts out. Very empowered dude.
yeah, but yeah, his podcast is the Investor Show. So he pretty much like teaches, breaks down. He was doing podcasting almost 7 years when wasn't popular. So he has information out there that how you start an E-Trade, how you start a this, how you start a that, and
Man, that's beautiful.
yeah, that's what he does in his book series, and all the stuff that we do with the kids. It's out there. But the foundation wants like we just want like hey, we got a Boys and Girls Club, we got a school district or whatever.
Mhm.
Get your kids in. All the proceeds that we get, it goes towards giving those kids stocks. And you order his book series through the website.
Mhm.
Also, it's a four series books, children's book, broken down,
Mhm.
simplified, with the kids and the parents will understand.
Mhm. Before we wrap up, Alan, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to share such a enlightened story of your life, your journey, and definitely things that you're doing for the community, not just the community, for people worldwide, spreading that knowledge. Knowledge, like I said earlier, if you hold the knowledge, it's useless. But if you resonate and give that to individual, you see it blossom just like a flower. What's the end game for you? You don't accomplish so much. What else is in store for you, and what's your end game?
Oh, my end game is, man, just to be the best role model I can be the best networker I can be, help, whoever I can help out as possible, give as much information I can give them as possible, but pretty much set the children for our, children up for the future, because the children is our future.
Mhm.
um, Having learned the right tools and know who to talk to and know who to approach and know how to say, how to ask, and how to provide. Because, like I said, it's more kids than us. We're
Mhm.
phasing out. Kids are our future, so we want to set them up for success, set them up for the stuff that we didn't have.
Mhm.
So they got the opportunity to get stocks. Guess what? We're gonna teach it, we're gonna learn it, and they're gonna have it.
How can the viewers reach out to you for information to even share what you just shared with me? How can the viewers reach you?
Oh, I'm on Instagram at Allen underscore Wims 45, ALLEN underscore WILLIAMS 45. I'm on Facebook, Allen Wims. I'm on TikTok, Allen underscore Wims 45. Like I said, if you want to, the nonprofit that I always cater to, Global Children Financial Literacy Foundation, you can Google that, go to the website, it'll pull right up. I'm also, on thinking of one more. Twitter. Yeah, I'm on Twitter too, at Hypermode 2001. But yeah, you guys can hit me up anytime. On Instagram, I'm always on there promoting some wrestling or was promoting the foundation. So yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much once again for coming on the show, Alan. Greatly appreciate that. Make sure you guys reach out to them. Let's give these kids an opportunity that we didn't have to understand financial literacy is important, and they have the resources to not only help them out, but to teach them how to invest a penny, a nickel into their future and pass this knowledge and this information on. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another exciting episode of the Andre the Beast Crayton show.